The chapter name is How the Camel Got His Hump. Okay, this is class 8 CBSE supplementary English. It so happened. Okay, so this is the first chapter. So today I'm going to uh, tell you the story of how the camel got his hump. I'm going to explain this to you. Okay, so in the beginning, when the world was new and the animals were just beginning to work for man, there was a camel, and he lived in the middle of a howling desert. Because he did not want to work, he ate sticks and thorns and prickles, and when anybody spoke to him, he said, "Hump, just hump," and no more. Okay, so listen here. There's a howling desert. Howling desert means a desert where you hear howling noises of both animals and wind. Okay, and thorns means a pointed hoodie projection on the stem or other part of a plant, like you have thorns in roses, right? It is sharp and pointed. Okay, and prickles means a short pointed epidermis, like a short pointed outgrowth on the bark, okay, or epidermis of a plant, a small thorn, like you yes, you can say the small thorn is known as prickles. Okay, so when the world had just begun and the animals had just started working for humans, there was one lazy camel who did nothing, said nothing except hump. Okay, and whenever anyone spoke to him, he lived in the middle of a howling desert because he had no intention of working, and he fed himself on sticks, thorns, and prickles. Okay, so now presently the horse came to him on Monday morning with a saddle on his back and said, "Camel, oh camel, come out and trot like the rest of us." Okay. "Hump," said the camel, and the horse went away and told the man. Presently the dog came to him with a stick in his mouth and said, "Camel, oh camel, come and fetch and carry like the rest of us." "Hump," said the camel, and the dog went away and told the man. Okay. Presently the ox came to him with the yoke on his neck and said, "Camel, oh camel, come and plow like the rest of us." "Hump," said the camel, and the ox went away and told the man. Okay, so listen here. Here, saddle. Saddle means a seat that is fastened on the back of a horse or other animal for riding. Typically, it is made of leather, okay, and little bit raised at the front and rear. Okay, and trot, trot, trot. Okay, like the like the camel, oh camel, come out and trot like the rest of us. Trot means to run at moderate pace with short steps. Okay, fetch means go and bring back something, means fetch. Okay, go and bring back something for someone means fetch. Okay, yoke is a wooden cross piece that is fastened over the necks of two animals and attached to the plow or cart. Like maybe you have seen buffaloes plowing the field, right? Okay, and plow means to turn up the earth, okay, with a plow, especially before sowing. Like if you want to sow any seeds in the field, then firstly you plow the field, right? So that is plowing. Okay, and one Monday morning, okay, the horse visited the camel with a saddle on his back and asked him to trot like everyone else. Okay, then the camel replied by saying, "Hump." The horse went to the man and reported this to him. And similarly, the dog also came to the camel with a stick in his mouth and asked the camel to come and bring things like them. Okay, the camel again replied with a hump. Then the dog told all this to man. Okay, then again the ox went to the camel with a yoke on his neck and asked him to plow like the rest of them. Not surprisingly, the camel replied to the ox with a hump. Okay, So the camel was just saying hump, hump, hump to all the animals who were approaching him. Okay. Then the ox, like the other two, went to the man and told everything. Okay. So now, at the end of the day, the man called the horse and the dog and the ox together and said, "Three, oh three, I'm very sorry for you, but that hump thing in the desert can't work, or he would have been here by now. So I'm going to leave him alone, and you must walk double time to make up for it." Okay, so now at that particular day end, okay, the day was going to end, the man called all three of them, the horse, the dog, the ox together. Okay, and he told the three that he felt sorry for them, as they would have to do the work all by themselves and would have to double the shifts for completing it. Okay, they would have to do this because the hump thing, which was the camel, okay, can't work, or else he would have been there with them. Yes, the man told this to the horse, the dog, and the ox. Okay, so that made the three very angry, and they held a panchayat on the edge of the desert. And the camel came chewing cud and laughed at them. Then he said hump and went away again. Presently there came along the jinn who was in charge of all deserts, rolling in a cloud of dust. "Jinn of all deserts," said the horse, "is it right for anyone to be idle?" "Certainly not," said the jinn. "Well," said the horse, "there's a thing in the middle of a desert with a long neck and long legs, and he hasn't done a stroke of walk since Monday morning. He won't trot." "Whew," said the jinn, whistling. "That's my camel. What does he say about it?" "He says hump, and he won't plow," said the ox. "Very good," said the jinn. "I will hump him if you will kindly wait a minute." Okay. So now, upon hearing that they would have to work double time, the three got annoyed. Right? Anyone will get annoyed if they have to work for the other people who is very lazy. Right? If they have to work double time because of the people. So here also the horse, the ox, okay, they got annoyed when they heard that they have to work double time, okay, to make it up for the camel. Okay, so they conducted a panchayat on the border of the desert. Only then the camel arrived chewing cud, okay, and he made fun of the three, said his regular hump, and left. Okay, the very next morning, okay, the very next moment, the jinn of all deserts arrived rolling in a cloud of dust. What is meant by jinn? Actually, it's written here D-J-I-N-N. Okay, so it can also be pronounced as jinn, J-I-N, and it is variously spelled like genie, Jenny, Jinny, Ginny, Ginny. Okay, like you can pronounce it any way you like. Okay, so actually a jinn is a spirit, okay, that has strange powers. Maybe I've seen in Aladdin, right? Aladdin, and can assume any form, human or animal. Okay, so jinn has a strange power, okay, and it can assume any form. Okay, so the horse asked the jinn if it was okay for someone to spend all their time doing nothing. The jinn said it was not right. The horse father gave him a description of the camel and told him that a creature with a tall neck and long leg who lives in the center of the desert had not done work since Monday morning, and that he won't even trot. Okay, so the jinn was quite surprised on hearing this, and the jinn tells the three that he knows the camel and asks them about his attitude towards work. Okay, so the ox told the jinn that he does not even plow and just says hum whenever they go and talk to him. Okay, so the jinn understood and took the situation in his hand and asked the three to wait till he handled the camel. Okay, so here panchayat means, you already know, panchayat means a council. Okay, and cud, curd. Camel was chewing a curd. Curd means it's partly digested food, okay, that is written from the first stomach of ruminants to the mouth for further chewing. Like the cow keeps on chewing, right? The cow keeps on chewing. So that is also a curd. Okay, it is partly digested, but it it returns from the first stomach to the mouth for further chewing. Okay, so that is known as curd. Okay, and view means it is used to express surprise. Okay, and I will hump him. When the gene said I will hump him means I will deal with him. Okay, okay, so now the Jinn rolled himself up in his dust cloak and took a walk across the desert and found the camel looking at his own reflection in a pool of water. My friend, said the Jinn, what's this I hear of you doing no work? The Jinn sat down with his chin in his hand while the camel looked at his own reflection in the pool of water. You have given the 3 extra walk ever since Monday morning, all on account of your idleness, said the Jinn to the camel. Okay, so now after having a word with the 3, the Jinn disappeared by rolling himself in his dust cloak, right? So he walked around in the desert to find the camel, and he finally found the camel gazing at his own reflection in the water. Okay, so the Jinn told the camel that he had heard of him not willing to work at all, right? And the camel continued to look at his own reflection while the Jinn sat down with his chin in his hand. Okay, the Jinn was also looking at the camel. Okay, and the Jinn continued to speak as he told the camel that as a consequence of his laziness, the horse, the dog, and the ox are walking double time since Monday morning. Okay. And now he went on thinking with his chin in his hand. Hump, said the camel. I shouldn't say that again if I were you, said the Jinn. You might say it once too often. I want you to work, the Jinn said. And the camel said, hump, again, but no sooner had he said it than he saw his back that he was so proud of, puffing up and puffing up into a great big hump. Okay, puffing up means it was becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, and hump means a rounded, what you call a rounded. Have you seen a camel? You find it in the back of a camel. Okay, it is also known as protuberance. Okay, it is a rounded kind of thing in the back of a camel. Okay. And after talking to the camel clearly, the Jinn continued his thinking. Okay, the camel replied with his usual hump. The Jinn told the camel to better stop saying it. He added that he had been saying hump quite a lot now, and how he wants him to start walking instead. Okay, so despite Jinn's warning, the camel replied again with a hump. And as he took out the word out of his mouth, the camel noticed his back becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, so the back he was so obsessed with. The back that the camel loved so much because of his beauty. He used to say that his back is so beautiful that he doesn't want to work. The back he was so obsessed with had now grown up into a big hump. Okay, and now, do you see that? Said the Jinn. That's your very own harm that you have brought upon your very own self by not working. Today is Thursday and you have done no work since Monday. When the work began, now you are going to work. How can I, said the camel, with this hump on my back? That has a purpose, said the Jinn. All because you missed those 3 days, you will be able to work now for 3 days without eating, because you can live on your hump, and don't you ever say I never did anything for you. Come out of the desert and go to the tree and behave. Okay, so now what happened? The Jinn mentions that the bulge on his back is his hump, and it is a result of his own actions. Okay, so the Jinn told that whatever happened in his back, the hump, the camel got the hump, right? And that hump is you can say it also as a bulge. Okay, so the Jinn mentioned that the bulge on his back is his hump, and it is a result of his own action. Apna hi kiya dhara hai. Okay, so it was Thursday and the camel had not done a single thing since Monday, and when all the work began, right, The horse, the ox, and the dog, they started walking from the first day, but the camel had not done a single thing since Monday. Okay, so the jinn clarified that now the camel has to work. And the camel, after seeing the hump, asked Jinn, how can you work with something like that on his back? Okay, before he did not want it to work because he had a beautiful back. Okay, now the camel, after seeing the hump, is asking Jinn, like, how can I work with something like that on my back? Okay, so the jinn replied that the hump served a purpose, and so the jinn also said that it has a purpose. Okay, it will enable you to work for 3 days, okay, without eating anything. Okay, because the camel had not walked for first 3 days, so the jinn told him that the hump will help him to work for 3 days without eating anything. Okay, and jinn said that he can live on his hump. He further, and the jinn even went on saying that the camel better not point out, okay, that the jinn never did anything for him. Okay, so he asked him to get out of the desert and begin walking with the tree. Okay, so and the camel went away to join the tree, and from that day to this the camel always wears a hump. We call it hump now, not to hurt his feelings, but he has never yet caught up with the 3 days that he missed at the beginning of the world, and he has never yet learned how to behave. Okay, so the camel joined the tree. Now the camel finally joined the horse, the dog, and the ox to work with them. Okay, and since that day he always carries his hump along, which we now call hump. Okay, to not hurt his feelings. Despite working, he has not been able to compensate for the first 3 days when the world began. Okay, also he did not learn to behave properly. Understood?